Welcome to the metaverse. What is going on? Welcome to the stream. I thought it'd be funny to put on my metaverse glasses today. And of course I got my Neo Tokyo hat on. Woo, baby, let's go. All right. So today we'll be getting into the metaverse and some Omniverse topics as well. So welcome to the stream. Make sure you like, share this video, the stream out to everybody so we can all dive into this and go over the Omniverse. I'm out of breath. I'm not gonna lie, I ran downstairs to grab these glasses real quick because I thought it'd be pretty funny to do a stream with these on. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and dive right into it, baby. Let's go. Oh, I guess we need to actually put the screen over here. There we go. Justin, yo, what is going on, baby? Wife says, oh my gosh, to infinity and beyond. That's how we do it in the metaverse. To infinity and beyond. To the limitless bounds of the metaverse. Ready Player One, LOL, let's get it. All right. So let me go ahead. We'll turn the music off for a second and get into it. Okay. So Omniverse. What is Omniverse? Okay. So on Twitter, you may have seen me posting a lot of this. I've been creating some noise, by the way. Check out Game of Thrones avatars here. That what they dropped the other day. Shout out to creds to Crispy Chill on Twitter for posting that. But we've been covering the metaverse topics quite a bit here lately, and I posted this up and got a little bit of attention here. We'll talk about that video in just a minute. We did the T-Rex in the metaverse as well. So let's talk about this post here. So in this tweet, I mentioned what happens when you cross AI with the graphics platform, building digital twins of real world avatars that come alive, simulations for robots to learn in minutes what used to take years and decades, AR, XR portals into the metaverse. This is all possible already. So let's go ahead and just take a quick look at this video. And as a matter of fact, we can just go to the website and check it out. I encourage you after this stream to check all this out. This is pretty insane stuff. So we'll go ahead and maximize this real quick. Yo, what's going on? Omi homie, SoCal Omi homie. By the way, this is only rendered in like 1080p, so you know what I mean? Or uploaded in 1080. You know, if this could be like 4K. It looks 4K. Imagine if they uploaded it in 4K. It would look insane. That looks crazy. Physics look good. This is where it gets interesting. Digital twins of the real world. Yeah, speaking at Chat GPT, look at this here. This is a simulation of a robot learning through essentially thousand or hundreds of, you could literally scale this to hundreds of different, I guess different simulations in the same environment or whatever. And you could scale that to, thousands and millions of the same simulation where it learns based on every single time or every single instance of that simulation. So essentially like cloud learning, kind of like how self-driving cars are kind of cloud learning based on every single experience. Look at this. This is the same here where you have machine learning and AI working together to create these types of environments. And when you can train robots that, these types of things like used to take, decades and years to train a robot how to do as simple as a hand movement or how to manipulate something in IRL in real life. Now you can do this through these types of instances here and train your robots to, be, more finesse and be more human-like with an actual like robotic arm that may, they're already using robotics in many different applications like the medical field, or, obviously we've seen robotic arms at, larger robotic arms in facilities like Tesla building cars, and they featured cars and simulations as well in automotive. Insane. So this has actually been out for like, I think a year, but it really hasn't really gained a ton of traction yet because a lot of people were kind of, I guess you would say like not so bullish on the metaverse just yet. But I think as we're seeing, companies all over the world now compete for AR devices, we're going to notice a big drastic interest and increase in the metaverse. And especially when consumers are getting these products in their hands, this is going to be big. So we're going to watch this one as well.
Complex. As artists, designers, and
saw Amazon, BMW Group. BMW, shout out to BMW, man. They're integrating all kinds of these applications into their entire operation. They have, obviously they showcased them here, but they have D now, which is a AI built into the car that integrates Ready Player Me avatars that you can actually represent your AI in your car with a Ready Player Me avatar. And you'll probably be able to dress it up with NFT assets like cosmetics, like, wearable on top of your AR. And then of course you could probably wear that wearable as well yourself in, with people looking at you in AR, as we've seen with Artifact and Nike and all that other stuff. Like this is just happening. This isn't just, is this going to happen one day? No, it's absolutely 100% happening, and it's going to happen. This is something that Pandora's box, it can never be closed again. This is just, it's been unleashed. And sure, like people can make predictions about like when it's going to happen, or, if. No, it's not if, it's like, when is this going to happen? It's when consumers get these products in their hands, it's going to absolutely take off. So anyways, that's my thoughts on that. BMW, shout out to them, man. Once again, putting out some insane stuff lately. Lockheed Martin, one of the top companies in the world.
Vice President of our Omniverse developer platform
in tech.
Here at Nvidia. And today we're going to talk about virtual worlds.
Or in military tech, rather. Drive Sim and the Omniverse, that's going to be huge for car manufacturers and safety, Automotive, again and again. Automotive, one of the biggest sectors in the world.
Let's get the word metaverse out there, what it means. We've heard it all over the place recently. Well, quite simply, the metaverse is the network. It's the network of the next generation of the web, which will be 3D. Now, we're all excited about it, as are many, because the idea of being able to go from one virtual world to another virtual world seamlessly means that we're going to have a lot more capability in what we do and how we do it. Now, here at Nvidia, we believe virtual worlds are essential for the next era of AI. They'll be used for things like training robots and autonomous vehicles, digital twins where you can monitor
This is where it's like literally spooky because look at this. The simulation looks real. Like it is actually literally hard to distinguish the simulation from the real life. And as a matter of fact, the digital twin of like, let's say a warehouse or maybe something larger like a city can technically persist in the metaverse or a digital or the digital twin, because what you want to do if you create these applications is you can basically like optimize your warehouse for better optimization. If you change something in your warehouse in the digital side first, you can kind of see and experiment like if that's going to be better for you and optimize your business from there. And then you can implement the change in real life without actually having to buy all these like, all these different things and make it super expensive. When you have a cheaper digital twin, you can do the same thing in first before you actually buy the stuff, right? So that's why it's so revolutionary, is because these automobile manufacturers are able to make digital persistent twins and make changes in the digital side to see how that's going to affect the optimization in their warehouses, so they can obviously lower the cost and make more profit. So this is why it's so important and imperative that this is going to happen, right?
And manage a factory. Even whole cities will be done as a digital twin, as we've seen with some of our customers. And the big thing that we're working on is Earth 2, which will be making a digital twin of the entire Earth.
There it is right there.
3D workflows require teams to hold an
Earth 2.
Arsenal of extremely specific and
now, I don't know if it's, I'll have to ask Randy, because Randy's an expert on like Earth 2. I don't know if that's the same Earth 2 as the Earth 2 that we know from Randy. So that is something I'll have to maybe bring him on. He'll talk about that a little bit. But I thought that was very interesting, NVIDIA's Earth 2.
and wide range of skills. These artists, designers, engineers, or visualization experts are often part of the hybrid workforce, working remotely or spread around the world. Each skill and expertise requires its own system setup, from laptop to data center, physical or virtualized, and each discipline requires its own software applications. Today, there's over 36 companies selling over 50 CAD tools, with countless more being launched annually. And these are specialized CAD programs for specific industries, regions, or tasks. Every major design software company has its own independent planetary system of add-ons, adjacent products, and customizations, and they are often incompatible. This leads to workflows plagued with tedious...
Let me break that down for you real quick, okay? Let me make it real simple for you. At the artist level, now you have artists working in all these different programs. Well, basically the Omniverse takes this and integrates them all together in the Omniverse. So an artist can basically create a 3D asset in any program that's popular, like Blender, and it updates real time in Omniverse, and then Omniverse updates Unreal Engine real time. Does that make sense? So now, not only that, it updates in real time, but now you can have your whole entire team all around the world working in different programs. Doesn't even matter anymore, because they all integrate with Omniverse and they update a lot in real time in Omniverse. So now all of these artists that you hire to make a game, they can all work together on the same thing, and less barrier to, the time that it costs to develop something is shortened significantly with Omniverse, because it updates in real time and pushes those updates out to like Unreal Engine and Unity. So it's basically tool agnostic, but also engine agnostic. So this is why it's such a big deal, right? This is what he's trying to say. Insane, right? Insane.
Import and export, often causing...
This is why every NFT project out here will be using the Omniverse as a base layer of what they do and how they operate. And we will see, other big companies and brands use Omniverse as well. We're already seeing it. BMW, as we just saw there.
Model decimation, mistakes, and
Star Atlas Metaverse looks clean. Yeah, they have a way to go, though. I mean, that game is a way to go. If they can figure out how to use these tools to actually speed up their development time, they'll do good. They have a ways to go. They only have a few actual Unreal Engine developers. They need more developers, and we'll see. Now, this is kind of new. Omniverse isn't that old, but we will need people actually using these tools, and that's the only problem right now, is we need more 3D asset builders in using tools like this. There's a shortage of them out there, that's the only drawback currently in the short term. Long term, I don't think there's that problem. I think AI is going to push people to be more creative and be in these tools building the actual assets. And people are saying, well, AI can build those assets. Well, they could, but they need human direction anyways. They need some kind of input anyways. So people and humans still have to input things into AIs for them to do something. And sure, like eventually they could be like autonomous somewhat, but it doesn't matter because you still need the end result to be what you want it to be, right? So not only do you need an input, you need a proper output. So you still need humans putting inputs and outputs and a desired result into an AI. And that's that's like a TED Talk discussion, right? Is what we're talking about here. So I don't want to get into a TED Talk. Let's just go ahead and continue.
And time lost. This has often forced customers to unwillingly adopt integrated products from the same vendors, which can limit productivity, creativity, and the
We'll speed past this guy. He's not that exciting.
These virtual worlds. You can think of it as two parts of a journey.
So this is where it's interesting right here. So Pixar made a file format system, essentially, is sharing like where it's called USD. It's like Universal Scene Descriptor, or I believe is what it's called. So basically Pixar made this to share their files and, cross collaborate among themselves. Well, Omniverse is using the same exact standard because they believe it is the HTML of the metaverse. So we will probably see all these 3D platforms. This is why they're integrate. This is how they're able to integrate, Blender, all of those 3D tools to seamlessly integrate with the Omniverse using Pixar's invention of USD, not to be confused with US dollar.
The first part is the creation, where you create content or virtual worlds using tools you're familiar with today, connected live to the platform of Omniverse so that you can...
So yeah, you could create some of these worlds in AI in the future, very possible, but you still need some inputs, right?
Collaborate with creators and designers across the globe. Open source 3D description and file format is...
Here it is, the HTML, this is their slide, of 3D worlds developed by Pixar, Foundation for Nvidia Omniverse, open source API and file framework from complex scene graphs, yada, 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 right?
It's easily
USD.
extensible. USD can be thought of as the HTML of 3D. Allows us to do things like create a time machine, where you can look at the past that's taken place and use that information to project what may take place in the future. And you can even change the variables of that, so you can have a more complete understanding of all the things that may or may not take place in the physical world.
Come on, that looked real. Don't lie to me. That actually looked real.
By studying,
and they just deleted a car out of the scene.
We built Omniverse to run on RTX. That means it can run on...
Here's where a lot of gamers don't understand about RTX. RTX was something that was built for the future. The reason why they're pitching it on gamers is to sell, obviously, the graphics cards at like higher prices. But really, this is their actual bet. The RTX, you have more CUDA cores, you have more tensor cores, more AI built into these graphics cards. Well, in their servers, they have the same technology, and it's basically they're future proofing their company for the metaverse. This is what's going on with RTX right here. So, anyways, cool little side note right there.
A laptop, all the way to a workstation or a data center and beyond. And most recently...
So they have their own server solutions here. So not only will they have the software level, they're going to have that hardware level built in as well. So they can take care of you from literally end to end. Do you see where we're going with this? Server, we're talking about edge servers. We're talking about the server level here that is fully optimized for the metaverse, not just some dinky old server that that stores a website. We're talking about advanced servers here.
Recently, we announced OVX, a computing system dedicated to Omniverse that can start with a workstation and scale all the way up to a superpod, handling enormous amounts of data to have true-to-reality simulation at any scale. Omniverse is a platform that serves developers.
Now, one other company that I'm keeping an eye on is AMD. They also have, from server level all the way to the final product of kind of what the metaverse is going to be. Now, they're a little bit behind, but what they are advancing on is the actual CPUs that go into some of these servers. And AMD and Nvidia have both bought server level companies to pretty much do stuff like this, right? A lot now. Again, gaming will be pushed as what will excite and maybe generate a lot of revenue for them in terms of their servers that will be used for gaming, and they will. There's going to be a lot of gaming servers, but this is kind of their long-term. When we're talking about persistent worlds, you need these servers to run that data.
It serves creators and designers and even enterprises. Now, for developers, it's free to develop on and free to deploy anything that you create for Omniverse, whether you're connecting with an extension or connecting to an existing app or modifying the application or even building applications on the platform. Omniverse for developers.
Hey, yo, what's up, G-Money? Yo.
With modern tools for you to create right out of the box, coming all the time.
All right, so here's a quick little breakdown. Digital twin robotics. You have your design and content creation, all these different apps, Adobe, Autodesk, Blender, blah, blah, blah. Rendering, you have asset material library, sensor models, system integrators like Deloitte, digital twin and robotics. You have all these companies as well, and the Omniverse integrating all of that into one easy platform to use.
They're connecting their asset libraries, their applications, and all sorts of things like that.
This is where it gets interesting. Isaac Sim.
Plus, we've had over 160,000 downloads of Omniverse for individuals who are taking the product and using it in a wide variety of ways. And we're seeing amazing work being done that's shared on all the different types of social networks that are out there today. The Omniverse stack is built for maximum flexibility and scalability. By building and leveraging Omniverse, developers can harness over 20 years of Nvidia technology in rendering, simulation, and AI. They can integrate it into their existing apps, or they can build their own apps and services. Now, once you're connected to the platform, you get to harness all of the power that we've been talking about with Omniverse, like physics, to understand how...
All right, let's go back to that chart here. You can see Unreal Engine, Epic Games Unreal Engine. You also have Unity now. Unity's coming out. Blender, all this integrates into this one world right here, right? Then down here at the bottom, you can see the other integration like AI, which a lot of people, you have path tracing, universal scene descriptor, the physics, all this updating real time right here, cross collaboration across all your artists in a real world. You could actually push out these updates into your Unreal Engine or game pretty seamlessly, right? This wasn't possible before.
With Omniverse, like physics, to understand how things are going to behave in the digital world. So using things like water, smoke, fire, and adding them into the workflows that you're currently using. For example, let's take a look at how Siemens used the power of Omniverse to quickly perform physics-based super-resolution simulations on wind farms that accurately reflect real-world performance using Nvidia modular
750 gigawatts, and is growing faster than ever with an additional 650 gigawatts.
All right, we're talking about energy sector here. This is a pretty big sector. So yeah, this is going to be quite disruptive.
Gigawatts to be
Siemens is huge.
5 years. For companies like Siemens Gamesa Renewable Energy, optimizing the configuration of each new wind farm is critical for getting the most out of their investment and reducing costs for consumers. When designing a wind farm, it's critical to place each turbine so as to minimize the effects the turbines have on each other due to the wake that they create. Accurately modeling the wake requires high-resolution, high-fidelity simulation data that is specific to that.
See, stuff you never thought of that you never knew about. Now you know. Now you learn something new every day, right?
That wind farm, such as the geographic location and the terrain. The gold standard for generating this data is the large eddy simulation shown here. But to run just one iteration for a single turbine can take 40 days on a 100-core CPU. And with so many iterations needed to develop an accurate model for a specific site, using CPUs is impractical. Using Nvidia Modulus and Nvidia Omniverse, Siemens Gamesa has been able to reduce that 40 days to just 15 minutes.
40 days into 15 minutes. Literally insane.
Approximately 4,000 times faster. This is accomplished by running the model at a lower resolution, and then, with a PhysicsML model trained using Modulus, to enhance or super resolve the data. And the results are functionally equivalent to having run the model at full resolution.
Couple of little workarounds to get that, but yeah, it makes sense. I mean, when you integrate AI into that as well.
Let's take a look at the same data presented in a way that clearly highlights the coarseness of the low-resolution simulation. Here, they look like pixelated blobs. In the super-resolved flow field, you can see the finer vortex structures.
All types of industries will use
Let's get to BMW.
to understand how they're manufacturing something, how the operation of that device will take place afterwards, and all kinds of scenarios that they wouldn't have been able to imagine before.
Is it real or is it not?
There are many steps to building.
It's a simulation.
And today, Omniverse Enterprise customers can start with the building blocks. First is full fidelity visualization. This is true to reality 3D simulation of what's taking place in the virtual world, identical to what's happening in the physical world. Enterprises can, for the first time, aggregate 3D data sets from disparate design and CAD softwares and visualize them in real time. And they can leverage the Omniverse's platform multi-GPU rendering for extremely large data sets.
All right, this is kind of long.
Omniverse's RTX accelerated ray through our fulfillment centers. We
got Amazon using this.
Operational efficiencies. Next, packages of every shape, size, weight, and material move rapidly through our fulfillment centers. We use Nvidia Omniverse to better train autonomous robotic sorting and picking solutions. Training these robots' perception systems accurately enough to prevent system failures requires massive amounts of high-quality data, but often the data doesn't exist or there isn't enough. When we introduced more reflective tape to our packing materials, the perception systems failed.
Oof.
We retrained the models with physically accurate, photoreal synthetic data generated in Omniverse, indistinguishable from reality, saving weeks of
Indistinguishable from reality, he said.
retraining time and increasing model accuracy. Finally, with the digital twins of our facilities and the ability to quickly and accurately train robot perception systems, we can also better configure human-robot workstations, simulating opportunities for better employee ergonomics.
Took you a second to see which one's the real one, didn't it?
Nvidia Omniverse digital twins are helping us as we reimagine warehouse logistics from end to end and capturing a significant operational efficiencies which enable us to deliver more value to our customers.
Okay, forget GPT. All right, forget that. You integrate something like this into society with a chat GPT, and now we're talking. All right, now we're talking.
Omniverse is available for customers and developers around the world. Omniverse Enterprise is on Nvidia Launchpad, which provides a free 2-week trial where you can harness the power of Omniverse on Nvidia certified systems. You can also
All right, so we're gonna get to the next one here. I think this one's the one that they did at SIGGRAPH. So we will get into this one, or what is the metaverse? Wasn't that one?
Is our opportunity to highlight the amazing work that our engineers and our teams here at NVIDIA have done all year long. It's always been filled with the most amazing demos in deep learning.
Let me find the one they did at SIGGRAPH real quick.
What was different this time was that we used our own platform, Omniverse, to create the amazing visuals and demos for all aspects of the keynote.
Here it is.
Slides for any keynote presentation are critical. We use these visuals.
All right, so what we're gonna do here is get into what the VP of Omniverse said here.
Next SIGGRAPH. Next, let's hear from Rev and Steven to talk about the metaverse.
I can't see y'all's comments, so I'm gonna have to take off the shades.
The metaverse is the next era in the evolution of the.
All right, again, this is Rev. I guess Nvidia also has a Rev, so you know, shout out to Alex G. So, anyways, he's VP Omniverse and Simulation Tech.
Internet, a 3D spatial overlay of the web, linking the digital world to our physical world. In this new iteration of the internet, websites will become interconnected 3D spaces, akin to the world we live in and experience every day. Many of these virtual worlds will be reflections of the real world, linked and synchronized in real time. Many of these virtual worlds will be designed for entertainment, socializing, and gaming, matching the real world's laws of physics in some cases, but often choosing to break them to make the experiences more fun. XR devices and robots will act as portals between our physical world and virtual worlds.
All right, so let's pause that there. Listen to what he just said.
But often choosing to break them to make the experiences more fun. XR devices and robots
will act as portals.
Portals between our physical world and virtual worlds.
And that's exactly what I said the other day on Paul Barron's channel. Yeah, like TVs now are integrating blockchain. They're integrating, you know, these digital experiences now. That's a portal. It's a window into the metaverse, right? And so will AR, VR, XR devices. They'll all be these portals into the metaverse. And this is interesting what he says in a second as well.
Humans will portal into a virtual world with VR and AR devices,
There he says it right there again.
while AIs will portal out to our world via physical robots.
So I bet you all didn't think of that right there. So imagine like you're at home. Now it kind of already is like apparent with Alexa and Siri and all the other types of like speakers kind of already doing that, right? You can already just say, hey, buy me, or what's the weather today or whatever, right? Now you'll have more advanced AIs maybe coming to you. Maybe you forgot your keys, and it comes and tells you. Or maybe this is the future of, and I've seen a little bit of this in home security. Home security kind of had like detection speakers and kind of more advanced AI built into the or machine learning built into the speaker. Well, this could be kind of like a Jarvis following you around, essentially, like on a tablet. So very interesting, right? AI actually coming to you to meet you in the physical world. Kind of spooky a little bit, right? Kind of a little spooky for some. But yeah, this is kind of where the base level of robotics or AI is right now. And then maybe in the future, we've seen Boston Dynamics and DARPA make all those, advanced robots that have human-like movement, and they can jump and do backflips now. And that's come a long way since like 20 years ago, right? AI will fix Alexa.
Just like in the infancy of the internet, no one can predict exactly how and how large the metaverse will grow. But today,
What's that funny guy? You're talking about Dr. Disrespect. Yeah, that's kind of the vibe right there. The vibes for sure.
we know we can lay the foundations. The foundations of the metaverse require two things. First, a standard, open, and extensible way to describe all of the things.
So do you see where I'm getting at? Every NFT project, in my opinion, will use either this platform or platforms like this. Now, Nvidia obviously is one of the biggest leaders in the space. They make graphics cards at the highest level. Like they're in literally every computer and like every server, So it's a leading technology company, and they're putting their foot forward here to become essentially like the Apple of the metaverse. So they seek to kind of become the Apple of the metaverse. Do you see what I'm saying here? So they seek to have the end hardware, the end software, and all the tools you need to make experiences in the metaverse, and also it's just the back end structure of the entire metaverse. That's pretty insane, right? So in a nutshell, they'll be the front runners, in my opinion, one of the front runners of where I see the metaverse going, just because they have the solutions already here. It's ready to go, right?
In the
We're almost ready to go.
The metaverse.
Hey, shout out to All Chat Gaming. Thanks for the dono, man. $10 dono. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Second, a
Big
computing
respect. Big
platform
respect.
designed for the creation and simulation.
Oh, did we get another member here? I can't even see. It's hard to see the screen.
The 3D
Hard to see the screen for sure. Let's see, All Chat Gaming. We had upgraded membership to Charizard, baby. Let's go. Shout out to the upgrade, man. Upgrading the membership. I see you. And again, I love the emoji with the sunglasses. I get it now.
The metaverse, if you will, needs a standard way of describing all things within the 3D worlds. We believe universal scene description, invented and open sourced by Pixar, is the standard scene description for the next era of the internet. USD is far more than a static file format. It's a 3D composition engine with APIs for composing, editing, querying, rendering, collaborating, and simulating virtual worlds. USD is unique, giving 3D artists.
Shout out to Pixar, man. Pixar doesn't get enough credit for being the pioneers of 3D. I mean, they really are. I mean, a lot of us older people, like I consider myself old. I'm not that old, I guess, but we do remember Pixar in the beginning days and how groundbreaking those animations, those animated cartoon or animated series were, like when Disney was putting those out originally, or I guess maybe before even Disney even bought Pixar.
Designers, developers, and world builders the ability to work in non-destructive, layered workflows. The framework is highly extensible, providing the ability to build custom schemas for specific workloads or industry applications. We have a rich and long-term vision for USD. Looking at the 2D web, we witnessed HTML's remarkable progress from HTML 1.0 in 1993, where it could only describe simplistic web pages, to HTML5, enabling rich, interactive media and dynamic applications. USD is quickly evolving along a similar path from its origins in MNE as a static description of large virtual worlds towards a system for dynamic, procedural, and real-time worlds. We see the long view of USD and are fully committed to helping accelerate its development to reach that future sooner. Our most recent contributions include a custom MDL schema that can represent physically accurate materials and specify material parameters. We also upgraded USD from Python 2 to Python 3 bindings. And, along with Apple and Pixar, we extended USD to standardized support for rigid body physics. We envision USD evolving as a complement to existing 3D standards, most notably GLTF. Today, GLTF is an important 3D file format used across a vast number of 3D applications and delivery on the web. We're helping take the initial step towards harmonization of USD and GLTF with our development of an open source USD file format plugin. With this plugin, creators can directly leverage the powerful layering, composition, and non-destructive editing capabilities.
All right, well, we're going to stop it a little bit right there. I'm going to go over to my profile and show you guys why I was so hyped about the T-Rex video here. Now, if you watch this from the beginning and you kind of get where I'm trying to get at with this and why it's so important, when you have the EVERYverse and Unreal Engine, they're using Cavernous. Possibly Cavernous uses Omniverse on their back end as well. Who knows? I don't know how they're doing this, but do you see why you would want utility in a EVERYverse versus, you know, some other type of utility that is just in an app? You know, this is where I see things are going, right? People are going to actually be in these immersive experiences. This is why I did a video on this and why I think it's important is because, you know, people like are going to live and have literally be in these worlds a lot of the time in their spare time. And some people, a lot of people are predicting, you know, these metaverses, you'll actually work in them or be in them and operate in them, and where your friends are, you'll be too. And so that's why I think it's important that the utility focus isn't now, but it's in the future in the things like EVERYverse and things like that, where you can actually experience this as it feels like you're in there in real life. Like, you know, it's hard to tell the difference. And like I showed you in this video, the spatial audio and how you get closer to the T-Rex, it feels like you're actually there. You could feel the footsteps of the T-Rex. And what happens if Vivi or, you know, they take this asset and make it to where it actually walks throughout your showroom or things like that, and you can create like a Jurassic Park world, or maybe they make their own, or this asset, I believe, comes from the movie itself. Like, that's huge. You can actually look at an asset that was used in the movie. Like, that is crazy. That's just like, this isn't possible before. Like, sure, you can play a video game, but you don't own that asset. And so that's why this is important, and why utility in the actual metaverse is important, because now you can show off to all your friends that you own this asset that was in a movie. Like, that is not possible before. Now it's possible. Do you see where I'm going with this, and why the future is very, very bright, and people are not, they don't understand in the VV community as much as they should. And this is what I'm trying to get at, and kind of shine a light on it, if you will, and help everybody understand. Maybe people are bearish on the fact that like there's no utility, but this is where things are going right here. So in my opinion, this is where the direction VV is taking. And you know, trust and love. Now, this is obviously different from what we've seen in the macro of NFTs, where everything's on OpenSea, and it's like, oh, if you have this NFT, you can get into a party. So what? Like, nobody really cares about that. Fast forward when the metaverse is going to be out, right? People are going to be caring about what utilities are going to be in the actual metaverses themselves. Like, forget about IRL stuff. I mean, I'm not trying to knock it. It's cool, and I do want to go to these events, and I do want to see people. But at the end of the day, like, people are going to care a lot of what happens in the metaverse in the future, just based on the trajectory of where it's going. So I'm not trying to moonboy Vivi by any means. It's just a future and where I believe long-term things are going, right? I've always been long-term. I always see comments and I'm like, it's such a short-term thinking sometimes. People that FUD or whatever, they want utility now. I want it now. It's like, just like things will come, but you have to wait. You're so early right now. Like if you wanted to be an early adopter, then you probably picked the wrong, I guess, sector to be in. If you're not, long-term on it, is what I'm trying to say. Of like Jurassic Park, who doesn't want to be up close to T-Rex? I mean, obviously not. Literally everybody wants to be close to T-Rex if they could. I mean, if it doesn't actually kill you, you can only do that in the metaverse. You can't do that. I mean, you can do that in some video games, but you don't own the asset. Like, you don't have the possibility of owning that thing, right? So yeah, anyways, off my high horse on that. That's why I did that video.
Of USD with their existing GLTF asset libraries.
And yes, I do believe they will be interoperable eventually. All right. So I know like that's a big part of Web3. I get it. We've seen the GM to Vivi talk about that. That's the end goal of these assets is interoperability. And these assets right here are pretty much interoperable anyways, like themselves. Like I know like people think that like, oh, if it's not in the Viviverse, it doesn't make sense. It does make sense because Jurassic Park themselves could make their own experience and you could port those Vivi NFTs into a Jurassic Park, theme park or whatever. And that would make sense. So, and with Cavernous, that's possible. And it uses the actual environment's physics too. Like it's native in that world. So people are not wrapping their heads around this. And you just working with that Illuvium, sometimes like not just Illuvium, like, Illuvium, Myriad, like all these companies I've worked for. One thing is like just because I don't know, never mind. I'm gonna get off my high horse here. I'll get fired up.
Performant.
I'll get fired up.
Real-time, large-scale virtual worlds and industrial digital twins.
I try to support all you guys. I watch Kyle, Chris Cavell. If Randy starts one, I'll support him too. These guys put in a lot of time and provide great info that helps me. Hey, appreciate you. Appreciate you, SoCal homie. Great works, Steve. Steve, the man, the myth, the legend. Great work. Thanks. Hey, appreciate you.
Open source these builds for our ecosystem, ISV partners, and customers.
Planet Vampire. We will live in the Who Framed Roger Rabbit world. Hey, if you go to, I think it's Disney. They used to have that over there on Disneyland, the Roger Rabbit world.
Let me show you a sneak peek of what we've been doing.
Nvidia.
Justin, yes. Tell YouTube, tag them on Twitter, tell them that they need to update that. Like, what is the deal, YouTube? Get on the program, join the join button on mobile, please.
Is enhancing USD to support extremely large and complex digital twins. Everything from sprawling factories.
I think we already saw this, so
climate change. Digital twins need to.
Let's start looking at the avatars.
Less in milliseconds, high quality facial animation. Let me show you what I can do.
Here we go. This is where it gets interesting. Emotion control. That's just basic slider stuff, right?
It's so dark. Where is it? I can't see it. I can't see anything. But I know it's there.
It's like if an AI came like into sentience or whatever, or like came to realization that it's alive. That's what its response would be.
Waiting.
The beige hue on the waters of the loch impressed all, including the French queen, before she heard that symphony again, just as young Arthur wanted.
Okay, I have a few jokes here. What do you call a fish without any eyes?
We have an exciting roadmap for Omniverse audio to face. We just added more features to analyze and automatically transfer your emotions to your avatar. We're expanding connections and availability of audio to face to other engines and platforms. Let me show you where we're headed. First, we're going to expand our multi-language support. We're looking at improving different people's voice adaptability. The facial animation you see on the right is created through muscle simulation only. There are no other hand tweaks or animations applied.
All right, so in the NFT space, in the macro on OpenSea, I see a lot of 3D projects and they don't get a lot of a proper love that they should get. But a lot of them, what they are doing as a quote unquote utility, especially like the NFT space for whatever reason gets like super hyped about it. because this is like happening with Vivi already too. Is they're like, oh, well, I guess it's the interoperable part of it, even though they'll be using it in the same metaverse that whatever the platform they build on with. But these like projects, they'll build these 3D avatars, and they'll, as a utility, they'll say like you can plug this into any metaverse or whatever. Well, this is kind of the technology they're using, and that's kind of like their utility. This is why I'm seeing the trajectory into the metaverse, and why the utility here matters more than it does, in IRL, for example, because IRL kind of has its limitations, like limited to like events and merch. You know what I mean? So in the metaverse, like if there's digital economies, let's say like Illuvium or a Star Atlas or whatever, right? Then that's when you can actually use your assets to do something, right? In the metaverse. Like, so that's why, and there's actual monetary rewards for that. And so that's why I'm saying this is going to be a bigger deal than what a lot of people are screaming in the VV community sometimes about like utility. And Disney could do this, Disney could do that. Listen, Disney could do all of that, but they're not going to because, they could, but it's going to matter what they do in the digital, right?
We can teach the muscles how to behave, and they learn how to move based on a video input from the left. Not only that, this is a generalized solution that works for many different types of digital humans. We can train and transfer these muscles to all kinds of digital humans, enabling us to generate motion without the need to motion capture or do 4D scans. Lastly, here's one of the most complex digital assets to create and simulate. Similar to image to 3D, we can now generate strand-based hair from a single photo. What we're showing here is an end-to-end system from generating hair.
By the way, does anybody see Ikomi's tweets? I just saw their tweets. Like they're mentioning like how to secure your assets. And I know like people were commenting like, hey, like why are you saying this? In my opinion, they might be foreshadowing that they're gonna do interoperability here, in the not so distant future. So a lot of people as well, like they don't know how to secure assets. Even a good like one of the OG punk holders and ape holders lost his NFTs just recently. Like I'm not even like a couple weeks ago, he lost like a punk and he had a bunch. He had a bunch of Bored Apes. Like he was like one of the top holders or something crazy like that. And he lost all of his assets. And, it goes to show you that even the most OG NFT people can lose their stuff. And a lot of people are still new to NFT. So, yeah, people are screaming interoperability, but you also have to be careful for what you wish for because you could lose your assets. So I know people are screaming interoperability, but please educate yourself out there first before you scream that interoperability. I even see some VV OGs that are pretty much just they're only VV specific and they've never messed with one single OpenSea NFT that are saying like interoperability. But I'm like, bro, like you don't even know how to send your NFT to a Ledger wallet. So what makes you think you're for interoperability? You have no idea how to secure your own assets. Like let's learn how to secure our assets first before we get excited about interoperability. I mean, I get. Well, everybody, there's a lot of new people in the community, but come on, guys, let's educate ourselves a little bit. I'm for interoperability, but I'm also for safety, and I've always practiced safety. And I've had a Ledger wallet from like 2017. So, anyways, I'm just saying it could happen to anybody. So be careful out there. That's all I'm saying. So I know I get passionate about that a little bit, but
it's a simulation. For grooming hair, we're combining a full physics.
Yeah, just take this time wisely to learn about safety. That's all I want to get the point. That's the main point I want to get across.
We want to democratize building interactive.
Yeah, the Ledger stacks look sick.
Today, we're announcing Omniverse Avatar Cloud Engine.
All right, so this is where it gets interesting right here. ACE, Avatar Cloud Engine is what that stands for, ACE. So you will probably hear this a lot in the future. It uses Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, Microsoft Azure as kind of like that back-end server level, I guess, or cloud infrastructure. And you can see here, Animation AI, you have Vision AI, Recommend AI, and whatever this is, Conversion AI. And then it connects to the engine, which is the ACE. So literally you can turn these avatars into where they look like real, right? Real life avatars.
Omniverse ACE. ACE is a collection of cloud-based AI models and services for developers to easily build avatars. It encompasses Nvidia's body of avatar technologies, from Vision AI, Speech AI, natural language processing, to audio to face and audio to motion, where you can animate your avatar's face with spoken words, all running as APIs in the cloud.
That's huge.
With Omniverse ACE, developers can build, configure, and deploy their avatar application across any engine in any public or private cloud. ACE.
Did you just hear that? I don't think you guys heard that loud enough.
Application across any engine in any public or private cloud.
You can publish your avatar in any private or public cloud? Like what?
ACE will democratize the ability to build and deploy realistic AI-driven intelligent avatars.
Hello?
Let me show you.
Let me repeat that again.
And deploy private cloud.
ACE will democratize the ability to build and deploy realistic AI-driven intelligent avatars.
Let me show you what this.
Making it kind of interoperable, right? Like again, Nvidia is on the back end essentially decentralizing everything they're doing to empower creators, right? They're making all the assets and all of these things pretty interoperable, right? So it's not like what the NFT space thinks is interoperability. It's just the essential, empowering of creators to do what they're focusing on and create cool avatars so that you can bring them to life. Pretty cool stuff, right?
This looks like.
In this demo, ACE is powering a metahuman Unreal Engine in real time. That includes natural language processing, a custom voice model, and animation behaviors. Let me show you how it works. Hello.
Hello, my name is Art.
By the way, this looks pretty cool. But again, the interoperable thing is like, in my opinion, look who's saying that stuff. Like, I get like it's exciting, but are they looking to just pump a bag? Like in the short term here, like long term, it's going to be interoperable. You know it. You've seen the videos. You've seen Michael Adler, the GM to VV in the US, say it as well. So it's like, are we trying to pump bags here? What are we doing? What are we doing? That's what I want to. That's the question I want to like say as well. It's like, are we being kind of white knights, or are we just trying to pump a bag? So that's my question.
Arjun. I am a digital avatar.
I'm just fired up today, I guess. I chose violence today, apparently.
What does it mean to be a digital avatar?
I'd be happy to explain. In computing, an avatar is a graphical representation of a user or the user's character or persona. A digital avatar can also be a virtual assistant, like myself.
Can you tell me more?
Avatars are the digital representatives in the virtual world. The characters we control in video games can be thought of as avatars, and increasingly, we will adopt avatars as we shop, socialize, learn, and work in the connected online environments that we are calling the metaverse.
Let me show you another avatar in Metaverse. This is Sam. I've heard a lot about this thing called the metaverse. Can you explain it to me?
The metaverse is the 3D evolution of the internet, a network of connected, persistent virtual worlds.
I'd love to know more.
The metaverse will extend 3D web pages into 3D worlds and connect the digital world to the physical world. The metaverse.
All right, so you get the idea, the avatars, bringing them to life. You're getting the applications there, automotive, the energy sector, advanced simulation, modeling and predicting and things like that. So you get the picture of why the metaverse is going to be successful with platforms like the Omniverse. And also, NFTs and Web3, it's a technology, all right? It's a technology. So at the end of the day, it's a base level technology that anybody can use it any way they want. It technically, the way Vivi has chosen, the walled garden, it doesn't matter. That's how they're using it currently, right? There's no rules that say this has to be interoperable because I demand it and I say so. I mean, you can have that demand on VV, and that's fine if we get it. That's going to be great for us, in my opinion. And I think that's exciting too. But at the end of the day, it's a base level technology that companies will use to just show that you have digital ownership. That's the more important thing here, is that you actually own it in the metaverse, right? And that's the direction where I'm most excited about, because that at its core, companies know that people want to own things in the metaverse. And the only technology that's possible is Web3, blockchain, and NFTs. So that's the more important thing we should be focusing on currently right now, because the interoperable argument is great. I love it. I'm a crypto native, so I love decentralization. But this is where VV's building towards, right? So that's my main core focus on. I'm not focused on all the noise because I'm confident, like I said, Vivi's going to deliver. But my focus is on the actual base level technology of the metaverse. And I know Nvidia's like approaches they said like they're calling it Web 3, but their Web 3 definition is a 3D persistent world. That is kind of like the next iteration of web pages, right? Is a 3D, like quote unquote web page that is a working persistent world. And that's their version of Web 3. My version of Web 3 is different because the base level, you need ownership. And if you're in one of these metaverses having fun inside of it, you don't own anything. And we don't like not owning things in real life, right? You want to own your phone. You want to own your car. You want to own a cup. Like you want to own simple things. Like, look at this cool cup. My wife bought this cup because it looks cool. What do you think she's going to do in the metaverse when she has a cool character and she wants to express her feelings and emotions in there? She's going to buy a dress. She's going to do things, right? The only technology that can do that is Web3 in terms of NFTs and that technology. You can do that currently with Vivi. You just don't have outside interoperability. You'll have interoperability, in my opinion, in these worlds, in the Viviverse, or if they do ink a deal with a brand to bring in assets to, like, let's say Disneyland, then they can do that too. So in a sense of interoperability, it will be interoperable in the metaverse. That's the more important thing people are not focusing on in the VV community. They're just focused on outside interoperability on the blockchain itself. Fine, that's fair. I'm for that too. But come on, let's focus on the actual future technology, the actual exciting part of the metaverse itself, the inside interoperability of metaverse worlds. That's what I've been trying to communicate for a long time in my videos, the past like metaverse videos. And it hasn't really stuck, hasn't really gotten a lot of attention because people are not in these metaverses. They're not looking at this technology. They're looking at what's currently on these 2D, these devices right here. And you're only seeing what you're operating on daily instead of looking at the future, which is interoperability of worlds, interoperability of environments, interoperability of experiences, which Vivi is definitely focusing on. That's the important key thing here is Vivi has said multiple times, even Cavell gets the picture. Cavell actually has been he's communicated this and been communicating this to everybody for a long time. And Cavell doesn't get enough credit. Cavell was talking about how there could be portals, there could be this, there could be that. And he knows that because he's a gamer, right? He's been in Fortnite. He's seen these experiences be built and how you can take your character in these games in each different portal and you can take your skins in there that you bought. And in a sense, that's interoperable itself, but you don't own that. That's a key difference between a Fortnite and Viviverse is that you own the actual asset, which wasn't previously possible. But with Fortnite, you don't. You can do all those interoperability inside that, inside its own walled ecosystem, but you don't own that as well. So it's a slight difference, right? And I think it is a fair representation to compare Fortnite with Viviverse. I think you should compare stuff because at a base level, Fortnite has pioneered the metaverse, in my opinion, in terms of some of the things that they've done over there, skins, brands, things like that. The key difference is they don't have NFT technology built into their app or ecosystem. Vivi does. That's the key difference that I'm trying to point out here. That's actually insane. You make YouTube videos with literally just bring good content and boom, baby, let's go. Go off, Kyle. Tell him. LFG. Yeah, I got fired up today. I don't know why. I'm just fired up. Somebody, it was probably yesterday. I'm still fired up from yesterday. Some rude person parked real close to a mother. Like this guy parked this close to a mom's car where she couldn't get her child in the car. So I got fired up. I told that guy, don't park like that. So I'm still fired up from yesterday. I'm like, who does that? If you're like parking this close to a mom's car and she can't even get in her own car and her like her kid put her kid in the car, like, dude, like, ugh. So I'm still fired up from yesterday from that little thing probably, but it's live. I mean, this is what lives are, where it's real. This ain't no AI right now currently. What happens to you when YouTube metaverse takes over? That's a good question. I think YouTube will do stuff. They've already talked about how they're bullish on NFTs and Web3. I think they'll continue to do that. So you can make an ACE avatar and script them with AI. That's nuts. Yeah, exactly. 100%. All chat gaming. Yo, what's going on, man? What's going on? Good to see you in here. Good to see you. With voice and face animation in sync, just bring the script. 100%. All right, so I think I thought my camera froze for just a minute. All right, so we'll call it there. It's been long. I pretty much went on a big rant, so sorry. I apologize, but this is what excites me, though. This is like the future here, where I see things are going. Is in the future you'll have interoperability on blockchains, but interoperability in worlds in the metaverse. I think people aren't really connecting the dots there. So you'll have different types of interoperability. Which I seen zero people are talking about right now. Not even NFT space people are talking about interoperability in worlds or experiences. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen anybody talk about it in Web3, period. Nobody's focused on it. I think Cavell did some really good comparisons to Fortnite, but I don't even know if anybody's connecting the dots here at all in terms of when you combine NFTs into the metaverse itself and how interoperable they'll actually be in both ecosystems, right? And that's where I see kind of things taking place. I think people can connect the dots when they think about, like, let's say a Marvel Mighties, because like they're like, oh, it's going to be like you can plug it into a game, and that's easy to wrap people's heads around. But what's not is the actual experiences themselves. Like Jurassic Park, you could put a T-Rex in there, or you could put it in your VVverse showroom, or you could put it in this other Jurassic World, or you could put it over here in this game too. And I think that's where the scalability part of experiences, showrooms and theme showrooms and many different other types of levels of experiences are going to actually matter a lot more long term. Now, how long does this take? That's kind of the $1 million question. It could take a while, because then you still have to build those experiences, and AI is still kind of like at a low level. Technically, it could accelerate in the next 5 years, and it will. And that's kind of like my safe timeline. Is I always like to put things in 5-year chunks, because things have to mature in that amount of time. And we haven't seen really a mass level of AR devices and VR devices reach consumers' hands. And that's where I see like most of where this boom is going to happen, is when people are actually feeling these emotions and they're wearing the tech or using the tech and understand and making their mind click. And they're starting to experiment with different apps and different things like that with the devices they're using. So that's when I think things really will start popping off, and then more and more talent will come to the space. You'll have more 3D artists. You'll have more people using tools like this to build. And that's where I see the more of the kind of adoption taking place around that time specifically, which this year is supposed to be a really good year. I mean, there's already VR companies like Vive, HTC Vive, doing things. They integrated Polygon. Meta's doing big stuff always with their VR devices, and they're trying to do AR too now. Apple, or have been probably. Apple, we're still looking at them to drop their headset, their AR, and they could surprise us big time. And maybe they have something under their wraps. They're really secretive sometimes when it comes to some of their products. Exactly like Battlefield 1. Oh, meta blimps. Let's see. I think meta blimps with ads would be cool, and like sparklers and fireworks to get you to look up. LOL. It definitely could be something for sure. Yeah, ads will be big in the metaverse. Don't discount advertisers in the metaverse. I think that'll be a nice opportunity, especially early on. Like with all these platforms, advertising is always cheap when a new platform pops off, and then over time, as it becomes popular, it gets more expensive. But I think there'll be definitely a gold rush period for advertisers in the metaverse. Let's see. Keep that thing on, you Kyle. All right. And then Justin, you two will probably stream in metaverse, but run 35 unskippable ads every Yeah, LOL, but with a big screen, and like influencer will come on and try to get you click the portal for an event where you get a special NFT, but limited entry for sure. All right. Well, that's all I got for this one. Hopefully that like we can watch a little bit more of this clip.
Multiple
actually.
Applications, whether for entertainment, socializing and gaming, or industrial and scientific use cases to build digital twins.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Sure. I am here if you have any more questions.
With Omniverse,
and they did showcase customer service AI that is now allowing avatars to talk to customers. So if a customer asks a question, then the AI will pull up a script to tell the person answering the phone, the customer service rep, what to say and what to do. So like it'll automatically have answers just populating as the customer's talking and asking questions. And then all the person that answering the phone does is just use the script. And that's already a thing. Like Nvidia's already put this out essentially. So, and they could implement like Chat GPT or something like that as well. So this is kind of where things are going, right? So when you answer the phone, you kind of already talk to like a phone tree or a detection system. But what happens when you integrate advanced AI into customer service? So we'll end it on this video right here. And we'll call it good for the day. Only... Oh... Feet Pics Universe. How about that? Feet Pics ads. There's a collection on OpenSea that was trending the other day called Feet Pics. So goofy, man. So degen. I kind of love it. Oh. All right. So that's all I got for this one. I'm out for the day. I'll try to make some videos, maybe more shorter around this topic here. So be on the lookout for that. I'll have more like maybe more metaverse driven content. And where I'll be less fired up, I'll just be normal in the video. And whether you like me fired up or not, comment down below if you're watching the replay. But cheers, guys. Thanks so much for joining. Consider joining the YouTube membership if you want to support the channel in paid way. Non-free ways are liking, subscribing, and sharing this video to friends if you enjoyed this content. And you are trying to help people wrap their minds around the metaverse and what it's going to be like and what it could look like. So with that being said, that's all I got for this one. Much love. Peace, love, Vivi. And be like an NFT. Be authentic. And I'll see you guys in the metaverse. Peace.